Hey, welcome to Mikey's Video Game Madness. Today we're playing Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith on the PlayStation 2. This is also available on the Xbox, the original one. I almost called it the Xbox One. So how about that? We're doing a real video today. I'm using different recording equipment. I'm actually using my old box that I used to record with, like my old HD PVR. Hopefully this looks better. This game was made to be played on a CRT television, so if it looks like crap, I'm sorry. This is the best of what I have. I try to do my best in post-processing to try to make it look nice, but you know, there's only so much you can do. So this is made by The Collective. The Collective made, which was, in my opinion, one of the best, if the best, Indiana Jones games ever made, which was Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. And this game sort of has similar fighting mechanics, except of course you'll be using lightsabers. One thing that drives me nuts about this game is that you see these cool spaceship scenes and you never get to fly a spaceship in this game. How cool would it have been to actually play out this battle right here? I guess that's why they came out with Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't think Battlefront 1 had these levels. Yeah, the little jail bar lines aren't in the game. I don't know why they're in this video. That's kind of a mystery to me. But this is the first time I'm using that particular recorder with this particular program, so hopefully it looks good still. I don't know. This game was never meant to drop any jaws or anything like that, but The Collective made this, who also made Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, and the Buffy the Vampire Slayer games that are actually good. I'm not even a fan of the show, but the actual games are good. The first one was an Xbox exclusive, original Xbox again, and then the second one came on both PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox again, and those were pretty good, and they were brawlers. This is a brawler as well. I think what makes Indiana Jones so good is it has shooting and puzzle elements and stuff like that, and I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer had a little bit of it, but this is like straight up brawler. But they had to release this game a few days before the actual movie came out. I actually was playing this game before the movie came out. This was a pretty decent send-off to the prequel trilogy, which I know many people aren't a fan of. I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's cool that they went back. Sometimes I think only the original 3 movies were really necessary, but it adds some insight to it. I also like the newer movies, which some people don't like because George Lucas isn't involved. But in some ways I kind of feel like sometimes you build a house and you enjoy it, and it's your house, and you build it, and then you get tired of it, and then it dilapidates and falls apart, and then you move out and go live your life and do something else, and then somebody else comes into the house and renovates it and rebuilds it and maybe creates some stuff that looks like the way it was before and stuff like that. And that's kind of how I look at the new movies or whatever. But I'm used to reading comics and fan fiction and stuff like that, and if it's done in an enjoyable way, like I don't mind. Like, I'm a fan of well, let me think. For instance, like Ash vs. Evil Dead. Sam Raimi directed the first episode, and then after that he let other people write their own stories and direct their own little episodes, and they turned out well, as long as it's done well, and some of the original people are involved, which Bruce Campbell is involved and stuff like that. I don't mind, as long as there's some familiarity to the product, like with the Ghostbusters comic books. Dan Aykroyd didn't write those, but fans of the game, it is related to the game, fans of the film and stuff like that went and created that, and that's awesome. I haven't seen the reboot. That doesn't look that awesome, but that's not because of it being girls or anything else, because the comic book has girls in it too or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like what's popular per se because it's popular, because I really don't have the largest social group of friends, so there's not a lot of people or things to influence me. So if I happen to like something that's popular or believe in something, it's because I usually came up with that opinion on my own, because there's nobody else really to influence that. But anyway, this was a great send-off to the prequel trilogy. I have mixed feelings about it. I thought episode 1 was kind of unnecessary as far as storytelling goes. I kind of feel like that could have been told in exposition, and maybe the prequel films could have started at Clone Wars, and then have some sort of middle film, and then this third act is pretty cool or whatever, but it's just between episode 1 and episode 2. I don't feel like there's enough character development for Anakin to truly just turn evil, because in the third game he like turns evil just like that, or third movie, but in this game too. So yeah, like I think he had like one or two temper tantrums in episode 2, and then episode 3 he just turns evil, and it's just like, I wish there was episode 2 being episode 1, and then some middle film to stretch out him slowly turning. But you know, I'm not George Lucas. This is what he wanted, and this is what he got, and for the most part it looks really good, and it tells a nice story. Getting these films on Blu-ray, I don't think they hold up all that well. The computer effects weren't meant for high definition. Like, I think they look best, honestly, if you want to know the truth, on DVD, because it just adds like some fuzziness to the picture, where I got the Blu-rays, and even in the original trilogy, some of the matte paintings like show and stuff like that. I'm really afraid of what some of these older movies will look like on Ultra 4K. Like, I know they released Ghostbusters on Ultra 4K, and I remember seeing Ghostbusters on DVD, and they had the Terror Dogs, and it looked like somebody took like a white Sharpie and outlined the Terror Dogs during the stop motion scenes, which I never noticed on the VHS. So, you know, it's a mixed bag, but they were trying to do a lot of stuff with special effects, and I think this third Star Wars film really nailed the special effects, where they almost look like models and stuff like that. But episode 2 and episode 1 is kind of dodgy. This game is pretty fun. You'll finish it fairly quickly. I got this game for around $3. There's a store called, what is it? I'm trying to think of the name of the store. Like, I keep on thinking of Charles in Charge. It's called like Second and Charles, I believe. Books A Million owns it. If you don't know what Books A Million is, it's like a Barnes and Noble. We used to have them, and they all went out of business, and then they started opening up these Second and Charles stores. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong or whatever. And it's a weird store. I've never seen anything like it. They like have comics in one corner, like straight up, like almost comic book store quality amounts, if you had like a small like comic book store. And then they have another corner that sells music, and then they have books, and it's a mixture of like new and used books and movies and video games, retro and contemporary. and it's just the strangest store. They also have movies as well, and the deals are really good. I got this game for $3, which was pretty exciting. This is definitely worth $3. This is a really fast game though. Maybe back in the day I would have been happy paying $50 for this game, but I rented this game, and before the movie came out, I finished it. You saw that it had like real clips from the movie, and I was basically spoiling the movie. Luckily, they take out a lot of stuff. They splice it up. I took out part of the screen crawl because that was literally a good portion of the film. I don't want them to think I'm trying to put Star Wars on YouTube, so hopefully the splice scenes won't get me in trouble. But I just wanted to show you. I always like that spaceship scene. I really like the designs of the ships of this. One thing with episode 1 that I really have a hang up about is the way like the ships look. And again, it's not my movie, it's not my vision. This is all my opinion. Like, if you like one thing or another, more power to you. I'm just telling you my opinion because it's my channel. But yeah, like, I really didn't like the ship designs. Like, episode 1, beside the lightsabers, and the lightsaber battles in episode 1 were really cool with, like, Darth Maul and seeing Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, like, fighting like you've never seen a Jedi fight before. Like, before you saw Luke and Darth Vader, and it was kind of intense, but none of them were backflipping and stuff like that. So that was really cool to see. But beside that, it just didn't feel like a Star Wars film. And episode 2 started to feel like a Star Wars film when they started to show the Clone Wars. You kind of saw like the precursors to the AT-ATs and stuff like that, and that was really cool. And then this, you actually see like the blockade runner, like part of the Death Star being built, which it's kind of weird that Rogue One's coming out and they're putting together the Death Star and they put that one plate on it. But it wasn't the plate already on at the end of Revenge of the Sith when they're putting together the Death Star? I can't remember. I have to go back. I'm tempted to go and rewatch the prequels. They kind of, well, I absolutely adored them when they first came out, but I was just like caught in the excitement of seeing it in the theater and all that stuff, and then owning it with time, I'm like, it's alright. It's not bad like everybody says it is, but it's not like something that I can watch over and over again like I can with like the original trilogy and stuff like that. But each time I watch it, it grows on me, kind of like Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which was another somewhat disappointing movie. I actually went on a date with this girl. I probably told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again. And she was like, she was really nice, but she was really boring, like to the fact that I was actually looking at the time to see when the movie was going to start constantly. And I was like, no matter how bad this date is, I'm going to see an Indiana Jones movie, and there's no way that this movie is going to be bad or disappoint me in any way. And I went to go see it, and it was so, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it didn't seem right. The writing was off. There was CGI in it that they said that they weren't gonna put in it, and it wasn't good CGI. So it's just really bizarre things like just like swinging on the vines with the monkeys and stuff, but it looked really fake. And then those ants, those looked the worst. But I don't know, the monkey scene bothered me the most. But it was still a fun film, I guess, and that's one of those things that the more I see it, the more I enjoy it. But I don't know, there's just some things that don't capture the magic. But I went to go see episode 7, and I remember, and it might have just been a foggy time because my grandmother had just passed away and I needed something to get my mind off of it. and I don't go to the theaters that much, but I was like, you know what, it's cool that, and it was nice to see all the original actors and seeing spaceships modeled after ships from the original trilogy and stuff like that, and everything had that grimy look, and this movie kind of had it, and I was excited about this movie too. Like I remember getting tickets 3 months ahead of time, not like I needed to, but I was so excited about this film. This was the film that I wanted to see when they announced episode 1, which was ridiculous because they had to do 2 more movies. But I was hoping maybe Darth Vader would be evil, like maybe in the first one, and you just actually see Darth Vader do stuff. Because I don't know, you never really got to see Anakin be evil or do anything, or Darth Vader at his full power. By the time you get to the 1977 episode 4 New Hope Star Wars, like Darth Vader's kind of worn out. He's sort of a badass in Empire Strikes Back when he's throwing shit around and stuff like that at Luke, but you never really got to see him at his full power, and you got to see that a little bit with this film. I really liked this out of all the prequels a lot, actually. There's some a few parts, like I remember being really, I don't know why, I felt really embarrassed when the Emperor's face was getting deformed and he was doing the voice but more exaggerated than he usually would. He was like an exaggerated version of himself in Return of the Jedi, and when he transformed, there's just something about the CGI, it just made me, I don't know, I don't know why I felt embarrassed, but I just didn't look right, because I'm like, we got these tickets 3 months ahead of time, and we were all stoked and everything, and it was a cool experience. When they first started playing the theater, they actually started playing it upside down, and they had to fix it. Everybody was yelling and ranting and raving, and they had police officers because people were, it was when those Force Effects lightsabers came out, and anybody could get one because they were somewhat affordable for a collector. They're still like $100 or so. This is around 2003, I believe. And yeah, so it was a really fun experience, but I don't know why I felt embarrassed, because it's just something that felt so sacred and so cool, and then it just had that one cheesy moment. And then when Darth Vader says no, luckily with the Blu-rays, and I think even with the DVD, they knew that it was kind of over the top and they toned it down a little bit. But in the original theatrical cut, when Darth Vader yells no, I can't do Darth Vader impressions. Like, I literally busted out laughing, and I think part of the embarrassment came with, I had friends with me, and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna think I'm like this huge nerd for liking something so silly, because, you know, it had silly moments, but at the same time, like, that lightsaber battle is, like, in my opinion, like the best lightsaber battle, and like the whole, I guess you would call it a saga now, the whole saga, like, hands down, that was so cool. And the last 30 minutes of the film, like, are really cool, and to see Anakin and Obi-Wan bonding in the beginning of the film was also really cool. And the reason why I'm not talking about the game that much is because there's not much to say. You just hack and slash. You have these little areas right here where it glows, and you use the Force, and then at the end of the level you level up, and eventually the game will branch off where you either have to pick Obi-Wan or Anakin, and Obi-Wan follows like the light side, and Anakin obviously follows the dark side of the Force, so your paths kind of branch off, but for the most part you kind of visit the same areas. I don't know what the requisites are, but If you do a certain amount of things or find a certain amount of objects, there's actually a bonus level where you get to play as Darth Vader during episode 4, where they go into the blockade runner and they hack down all the rebels and stuff like that. I think you have to do more than beat the game. I beat the game 2 times. Like, I beat it as Obi-Wan and then Anakin. It's cool that it gives you the option. And I believe Hayden Christensen, sorry, I'm really tired today, but I really wanted to make a video. But he does the motion capture. I don't think Ewan McGregor does it. Like, he's too high profile. Like, he still made movies after this. Like, I don't know many movies that Hayden Christensen is in after this. But yeah, it's like Streets of Rage with lightsabers. It kind of reminds me, there's this game called Jedi Force Power Battles or something like that, and it's a lot like that, except the battle system's fun and it's a good arcade game. It's not gonna blow your mind or anything like that, and it's a good companion piece if you want to live out some of the parts of the movies, except the cool spaceship parts, which I wish they had, but unfortunately they didn't. And yeah, I'd say if you're a Star Wars fan or you just want a good arcade brawler, you really can't go wrong with this. This isn't gonna blow your mind in any way, but it's not gonna make you have buyer's remorse. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well. I hope I didn't stumble too much during being tired. Like, I'm still getting adjusted from sleep from having a strep throat and being on antibiotics and stuff like that. So hopefully things will get better with time, but thank you. This is where you level up, by the way. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope I didn't upset anybody about my opinions about the Star Wars saga. I know that's a very polarizing thing, but I pretty much like all the movies. I have qualms with every single one to some extent, just like I do with any movie or anything. Nothing's perfect. But thank you so much for watching, and take care. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
If you want to, like, comment.